To address the wrangles in the Jubilee party, of course, is scheduled for Tuesday this week. Another testimony to the existence of a frosty relationship. But what are the issues? We now hear from two guests, same party, but divergent issues increasingly. Nyeri Town MP, Ngunjiri Wambugu, and Senator Cherargei of Nandi County. Thank you all for making time for us tonight. Keep talking to us. Text us #2422 on Twitter is the hashtag Sunday Live, and I'll start with you, Honorable Cherargei. But even before you speak, let's hear what you've been saying lately.
Sisi hatukatai mambo ya lifestyle audit, lakini tumejua hii lifestyle audit kuna mtu wana target. Na hiyo target ni succession politics ya 2022 ya kujaribu kuangamiza nia na dhamira ya viongozi fulani. Tusifanye tu mambo ya ufisadi kwa sababu tuko na mtu fulani tunataka tuangamize kisiasa.
So both corruption and lifestyle audit is a means to curb corruption, but of course there's also the other cases you've also talked about that we've been seeing in the public domain in NYS, KPC, KPLC, all those cases, and you're talking about only targeting one person. Earlier I read a tweet or three tweets that were addressing both of you, and one of those tweets is the same question I would have asked you. Why do you keep making such remarks, and what evidence exactly do you have about this?
On the issues of corruption?
Yeah. And that they are targeting one person. I assume by now you mean the
in fact, there is nowhere that we said, what I said is that the fight against corruption we support because it is an impediment in one way or another of ensuring the Big Four agenda of the president. And I've been but we have said let us not do it without using it as a political witch hunt or malice, because even we are not even speaking for one individual. I'm speaking for the rest of the Kenyans. Even as we talk now, there are many procurement officers that have been sent on compulsory leave who will talk on behalf of them.
Okay.
So it should not be used
but
as a tool.
The rest of them are not vying for 2022.
No,
specific about somebody's ambitions of 2022.
Of course, it is all over. It is written. You can't tell. There are signs that are enough that there has been a scheme that has been want to be achieved. But what we are saying, no one is against the fight against corruption in this country. What we are saying is let us allow the systems that are in place. And you remember, as the chair of legal affairs, I did call in DPP and EACC at one point, at least a month ago, and they agreed that we still have loopholes within the criminal justice system of prosecuting economic crimes in this country. And that is what we are saying. Let us be keen, because at that time, before you come in, at that time the DPP accepted that he has received 57 files from EACC, but only one could stand a trial. And it means we were doing just for political expedience.
Okay, which can happen in any investigation. It doesn't mean all files
and you know,
have to end up in trial. But my question is,
yes,
what you're talking about has happened a month ago.
Yes.
You're speaking as late as last week.
Yes.
Okay, saying these things. You're still not answering my question. What evidence do you have that these cases or the lifestyle audit is supposed to mess somebody's? And here I think you mean
of course anywhere.
So why would you say that? What evidence do you have?
Anywhere, even before President Moi ascended to power, even after Kibaki left office, there have always been people who have been always derailing the succession politics. And it's good I have my brother here, Ngunjiri Wambugu, who myself, I'm here as Cherargei and a senator of Nandi. I know he represents some faceless people who are working behind the scenes of ensuring that he frustrates the ambitions and any agenda that the succession. And remember, we are working on 20-year plan from 2013.
Frustrating ambitions of the deputy president, that's what you mean?
Of course it is written, and he has been on record being one of them. And I wish these people who are faceless that he's representing could come out.
Back to you. I'll come back to you. There's still a lot of questions for you, but let's get to the response of this.
Thank you, Hussein. I notice how my friend and colleague has completely evaded the question that you asked him. He said it very categorically that he believes that the lifestyle audit is meant to stop the deputy president from ascending to presidency in 2022. He's just accused me of representing faceless people. I think the people of Nyeri would feel very, very upset and very insulted, because the people I represent in Nyeri are not faceless. They are people just like the ones that voted for him.
It's not in Nyeri. The people he knows that are working behind the scenes.
You see now, this conspiracy. You see, these conspiracy theories that Tanga Squad has are what are actually making us get into the kind of problems.
I'll also ask you, what is Tanga Squad and what do you mean
because
by that?
You see, he's here. He's refused to accept that I represent the people of Nyeri Town. I was voted by the people of Nyeri town. I was elected by 71% of the people of Nyeri to represent them in National Assembly. He was elected by people of Nandi to represent them. All of a sudden, he assumes that he has more right to represent the people who voted for him than I have to represent the people who voted for me. He's already casting aspersions. When I speak independently, my position as an elected member of parliament, he assumes I must be speaking on behalf of someone else. I have said categorically, the president has a big four agenda that he intends to deliver as his legacy. To deliver that legacy, he has to unite the country, which is what he did with the handshake. Cherargei is extremely upset with that handshake. He believes that handshake was made to stop his principle for becoming president. He's also said, I mean, sincerely, when he says that when somebody is going to be stopped from becoming president, I am a member of Jubilee Party, which is led by the president and the deputy president. But there's no point at which, you see, he's quite categorical that some people, some forces which he thinks I represent, are trying to stop the deputy president, who he thinks he represents, from ascending to the presidency. And I keep asking myself, so far, Jubilee has not split. I remember Kipchumba here last week suggesting it might. It hasn't. So as of now, as we stand here, as we sit here, Jubilee is one party. So when I speak, I believe I'm speaking and representing the aspirations of Jubilee, led by the president, the deputy president, with a member like this one and a member like myself. So when I say that Jubilee,
if that is what you believe,
yes,
that it's so united,
yes. No, I'm not saying I believe it's united. I'm saying as of this moment in time, we have not split.
Okay. So
what we have are people like Cherargei who are suggesting that some of the things that the president is doing are meant to attack some people who he thinks he represents.
Do you believe that?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. Because
what is Tanga Squad that you just talked about?
Tanga Squad are people, these guys call themselves Tanga. Actually, I've had them calling themselves Tanga Squad. These are the president at one point, the guys who go around with the deputy president, campaigning for him for 2022. I have refused to be part of that team. Why? Because I was elected to deliver for the people of Nyeri for 2017-2022. They did not, none of my mandates includes telling them who they will vote for in 2022. When we get there, the president, in the very first parliamentary group meeting we had, when we got elected, even before we were sworn into parliament, gave us certain instructions. One primary instruction was, do not do politics for 4 years. On the 5th year, I will run the deputy president's campaign. When I look at my colleagues here, I keep asking myself, is it that they do not believe the president is going to campaign for the deputy president? Why are they campaigning for him before the time is right?
Okay, so I mean, you're very categorical.
Yes.
And even, I mean, before you
consistently,
even say, whether you say it or not, the president said it a year ago,
yes,
and 2 years ago, and I think 3 years ago, every year since 2013, that they will support the deputy president.
Yes.
Now you're saying it is not your mandate. And you're in the Jubilee Party.
Yes.
You're in the Jubilee Party, which campaigned and talked about this.
Let me tell you why.
So how is it?
Let me tell you why. You know, this is politics. Huh? We get to 2022, which is 4 years away from now. We have 4 years to get to 2022. What if, for example, today we woke up and Cherargei betrayed the president? Or the deputy president betrayed the president, for example? What if he refused to support the president's big four? Or his fight against corruption? We had Kipchumba, Senate Majority Leader, the leader of the Rift Valley Caucus, telling us he does not support the lifestyle audit. If, for example, the deputy president woke up today and said he did not, let me finish. Let me finish. If the deputy president said he does not support the lifestyle audit, do we still owe him the support for 2022? But that's what I'm saying. So we cannot have a conversation about 2022 until we get to 2022, because many things can happen.
That is not what the Jubilee Party promised. If you're following the leader you're talking about, which is
and let me explain something, Hussein, about what the Jubilee Party said. Right now, we have seen the president. National cohesion was one of the things that the Jubilee Party said. The president reached out to Raila Odinga and did a handshake. Cherargei, my friends, and some people who operate with him, but even Ruto was in ODM, and some people who operate with him have gone very straight, very firmly against the handshake. As far as they are concerned, they want it stood down.
Okay.
So I asked myself, the president committed national cohesion as one of the pillars of Jubilee. Why are they fighting it? If we are being consistent with Jubilee.
I think on the issue of handshake, I want to tell Ngunjiri that when the president and the NASA leader met and shook hands, they said it was meant for peace, unity and development.
Yes.
But it has mutated to even giving orders.
But the
that when you go
president
to a function, you should not talk about it. The deputy president should not go this side, so and so should not do this. What we say, in fact, as the deputy president, he is the principal assistant of the president. And all the projects that are being launched in this country are supposed to be launched by the president. If the president is not there, he has the power to delegate to the deputy president and even the ministers. So when the deputy president moves around, he moves around on the blessings of the president on behalf as a principal assistant. And mark you, if Ngunjiri wants to be fair, from 2002, the deputy president William Ruto has stood with Uhuru Kenyatta. When even in 2013, when Ngunjiri Wambugu did not believe that the president Uhuru Kenyatta could make a president, he was the one who said these are ICC suspects. What has changed over time that he now believes that the president, he supports the president more than all of us who have before supported the president by even voting. And these are some of the issues. And in fact, he should thank the Jubilee. It's because of Jubilee that he won the Nyeri town seat. That is what, if he had gone with ODM, he would not have succeeded. And therefore, we need to agree that this country needs to move forward. And the president said peace, unity, and development. We didn't say it meant, and for some of us, the issue we are being cautious about the handshake is that let us insist the handshake to be peace, unity, and development. It was not meant to give orders to anybody. It was not meant to demean anybody, and that is what we have insisted. Let the handshake remain as peace, unity, and development. We know there are two things. One thing that the NASA people need to realize: they are opposition. They are not government. The government is a Jubilee.
Okay. Yeah. Lately, you have said, drop whatever you're doing with Odinga. This what? Handshake, the initiative, Building Bridges initiative, and focus on the Jubilee manifesto.
Yes.
Why are you saying that?
No, in fact, that is why I have insisted that NASA is opposition. Jubilee is government. You think now what we should, after this handshake and peace, unity and development, we should now main our focus to assist the president in delivering the Big Four agenda. The Big Four agenda was not on the aspect that somebody should wake up one day and become class monitor or a prefect to tell some people don't do, and we are aware that they wanted this handshake to ensure they pass fine. Yeah.
Okay, but do they have a point?
And then the issue I wanted to, before he comes in, he has said the deputy president does not support lifestyle. The deputy president said
I haven't
he is
said
inferring.
That,
I'm following what he said.
No.
Logically, he's inferring. The deputy president said he supports lifestyle audit. But what he said is that let us do it for everybody. He realized that at some point, they just finished at him.
The channel even started, my brother.
Talking about the media.
Two things
but I'll come back to you, but I'll throw back that question to you.
Yes.
The deputy president has said he's okay with the lifestyle audit. What is the problem with you then? Why would you say?
Do you have a problem with that?
In fact, when you look at the answer record of the Senate, the EACC themselves say this lifestyle audit, they don't have, they see Alakewako and Wabukala when they appeared before my committee, they agree that they don't have a proper, a watertight policy and legal framework to ensure that they get hold of ensuring that we do a lifestyle audit that is fair to everybody, that is within the law. You know, there is right to privacy. I cannot wake up one day and just come and do an audit on you.
I'll take it back to, okay.
My brother here is just running away. He's looking for all manner of excuses to escape from the issue of the lifestyle audit. It's quite clear that there are some people who would rather not have a lifestyle audit. And but this was a point that I wanted to correct. He says that the Deputy President Ruto has been with Uhuru and from 2002. In 2007, when there was violence, the Deputy President and Uhuru were in different sides. So it's important for you to keep that. No. I just want to make that correction, in fact, so that we don't misrepresent facts. Now, let me come to the point I was trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that Big Four is an agenda by Uhuru Kenyatta, of course, and Jubilee and the Deputy President, that, however, must depend on two pillars. One pillar is unity. For us to actually be able to implement Big Four, politically we must be united. That means we cannot do politics, which is what the president has consistently said. Yes. Let us first not do politics. So the unity, the handshake is driven by that. So when I see people fighting the handshake, to me, these are people who do not want unity to proceed, which is actually a Jubilee manifesto issue, national question. Number two, fight against corruption. That's the other pillar that the Big Four must lean on. The Big Four are high capital input policies. They need a lot of money. If we do not streamline the issues of how we fight corruption, then we're not going to implement Big Four. People will just steal that money.
Okay, I'm going to listen to Raila Odinga's soundbite if we have that, and what he said. Then Ngunjiri Wambugu is going to respond to the question that I'm going to ask him. Let's take a listen.
We are no longer whistleblowers. We are one with the government in executing the war on corruption. Lifestyle audits on leaders is good for Kenya. We are in it fully. Personally, I'm ready for it.
Sioni kwa nini wengine wanatuambia anatakuwa rais. Ile kama ile mtu ambaye anataka kushika bibi wakati bwana yake bado hajakufa. Hiyo wakati itafika. Ndio. Wakati itafika, wanaume watajimboga kwa uwanjani. Na wananchi watawapima kimizani. Wewe sasa kama umpata fursa, fanyia Wakenya kazi.
Honorable Ngunjiri Wambugu, is this the unity you're talking about?
Yes.
Is this the unity you're talking about?
He's, first and foremost, both of them are politicians. The Deputy President and Raila Odinga are politicians.
Right.
They are going to do politics.
Right.
It doesn't mean that because...
one is telling the other don't do politics.
And the other one is telling the other one, you can't tell me what to do. So they answer in each other.
But of course, but the other one you're saying,
yes.
Raila Odinga and
yes.
Uhuru Kenyatta
yes.
have, after the handshake, have promised, I mean, you're saying it's very important, the other, apart from Big Four, they'll depend, according to you, on two pillars, corruption
and cohesion.
And cohesion. That's
yes.
what you're saying they'll
yes.
depend on.
Yes.
Not necessarily what the Jubilee Manifesto said.
No, actually, it's part of what Jubilee Manifesto says.
One of the agreement of the handshake, I have read that document. Let me to give directions to anybody.
So, of course.
So my question is, was that right by Raila Odinga?
Let me tell you who I take direction from, as far as the handshake is concerned. I take direction from the president. The president is the one who initiated the handshake. He has not come out anywhere to say that he has a problem with the handshake at all. Despite even when
is it the president?
It is the president. Okay. It was so clear. It was the president. Let me tell you something.
Neither has the
my brother here.
But
there's a certain confusion that exists. In 2022, if God wills and William Ruto becomes president, he will be the president. He will lead the country. He will shape opinion. It will not be shared. Today, the president is Uhuru Kenyatta. Deputy President William Ruto is his principal assistant. The leader of this country is Uhuru Kenyatta. Okay. I keep seeing as if we confuse that. Today, we are aligned to the president, all of us, including the deputy president. If anybody gets unaligned, if somebody thinks that what the president wants done should not be done, then you are actually outside where the president is supposed to be.
I'm coming back to my question.
Yes.
All these things you're saying, the deputy president agrees with.
Exactly.
Okay.
Which is why I get very surprised when I hear my colleagues here saying they don't agree with it.
Why are you talking about unity?
Yes.
If these two people that are supposed to ensure unity through the handshake that you're supporting, and the deputy president is also supporting,
yes,
one of them is telling the deputy president, stop your campaigns.
Yes. But the president has also said, let me tell you something, the president has also said, the president has said to us in private as a parliamentary group, he has said it in public. Okay. He even said it in Kenol. Remember, when he was coming from Muranga during the funeral for Matiba, he actually told people specifically, stop this thing of going around talking about 2022. This is not the time. So he told it specifically
to people. Is it interesting to you that the president said about 2022 campaigns?
Yes.
Stop campaigning.
Yes.
He also, I mean, the famous name now, Kutanga, he said it.
Yes.
And Odinga has used the same language.
You see, the Odinga is also taking direction. You see, Odinga is mostly taking direction from Uhuru. I'm taking direction from Uhuru. This is what is happening. When I'm asking my colleague here, where is he taking direction from? Because if he's fighting the handshake, for example, and Uhuru is supporting the handshake, who is he fighting the handshake on behalf of? That's the thing we need to talk about.
We are not. No one saying he's fighting the handshake. I think my brother.
If you are fighting against corruption, who are you fighting?
You know, the same people he represents are the people who grouped to when Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto are fighting
completely false.
So they are regrouping now by ensuring to
start. That is completely false.
That's why they say we are saying.
Let me explain something to you.
It
is completely false. It is completely false. It is important for me.
Yeah, I've said we are not fighting.
But he's here to talk cartels. Which cartels? Who are these people?
Yes, name them. Name them, my brother.
No. He represents them. He knows it is in the public domain.
Which one?
I don't need to say
I don't know.
Hussein doesn't know. The people listening to us don't know.
Apart from representing the great people of Nyeri
How
town,
do you expect people to believe you if
what I'm saying is the people, people who went to fix the deputy president and the president in the ICC. When these people are even fighting the shackles of ICC, he was not there. But now he is saying,
Hussein,
let us do this.
I must respond. No. I must respond before he goes far. On the ICC issue. On the ICC issue, Hussein.
He will respond.
I must make my point. Before he goes far on the ICC. I was at the AU. I was in New York. I was at The Hague fighting for the deputy president on the case of ICC. When I listen to guys like this saying
that he tweeted
this, look at this guy. When I listen to this, it is on record. I was one of those people who actually went around the country fighting, around the world actually, fighting on behalf of the deputy president. This guy wasn't even there.
But internet, what was it? It is the handshake. I want to clarify. It will, you know, it is in the public domain. The issue of handshake, no one is fighting the president on that. What we are telling, that is why when the NASA leader wants to fear off by now starting that you don't need to kutanga-tanga, or you don't need to move around. The deputy president is moving around on the blessings of the president to launch projects. You remember he was in Kiambu launching a road, he was in Marimati the other day, he was in Nyamira, and he has never campaigned. So I don't know where this assertion is coming from that the deputy president is campaigning. He is launching, and in fact today when he spoke in Embu, he didn't even refer about 2022 or any succession politics. Okay. So the handshake, what we are saying is that we are telling, let us maintain on the intention, the spirit, and the agenda of the handshake. The handshake was not about to tell somebody don't do this or do that.
You're speaking about your role as the legal chair of Legal Affairs Committee.
Yes.
You're talking about these corruption investigations and this lifestyle audit, we don't even know how it will be done yet.
Yes.
Being politically motivated, or planned to disrupt the deputy president's ambitions of 2022. Are you not interfering with the investigations by these agencies that you're supposed to support?
There is no day. In fact, if you go unanswered, we assured the EACC and DPP that they have our full support. And in fact, they have brought amendments. They have brought amendments. Even the Bribery Act of 2016, they have brought amendment on the EACC Act. And as a parliamentarians, we have a role to support to ensure that
what you've been doing outside.
Yeah, of course. But we are saying what we are doing to them, we are cautioning them. Like the way on the issue, for example, on the issue of arresting people on Friday, to ensure they stay between Friday up to Monday. Those are things that we have been telling them, let us follow the law. Let us ensure we become objective on the fair hearing within the constitution. Okay. But we have been the issue is we have been giving what we call cautionary statements so that they don't do these things out of political.
Who are you?
I have given you an example, Hussein. Of 57 files, we are cautioning the multi-agencies that they are fighting.
Okay,
you saw the other day.
Okay, let me ask it in another way. There's the law.
Yes.
Do you believe these agencies will work according to the law?
That is, in fact, we want them to.
Do you believe that is what they're going to do?
Of course we want them, but we don't want to run
such
let me use
remarks. Are you not interfering with what they're supposed to do?
Allow me to give history. In 1968, the vice president of this republic, the former President Moi, said corruption was a serious issue. When you look at Goldenback, when you look at Anglo-leasing, all these issues at some point, because of some political expedience, there have never been convictions. So what we are telling them, let us not do the issue of corruption or lifestyle out of political expedience. We will never succeed.
How?
That is why I'm saying when they say that we need amendments within the legal framework, we are assisting them by doing those amendments.
I have to move on, but you haven't answered my question.
Yeah. I have answered.
I'm asking you.
He hasn't.
Why would you do that? Why can't you let them do their job?
Yes.
But we have assured them of their support.
No.
But what we are telling them, let us not do it out of political expedience.
I'm going to look at a Facebook post you did recently.
Yeah, internet never forgets.
The sum that you did a while back.
Yes.
Of course, even Cherargei alluded to this before. It didn't start now that you are talking about William Ruto and 2022.
Yes.
And that being far,
yes,
and that you're not going to tell your people to support William Ruto.
Yes.
So I want to know why. I mean, it didn't start now. This was as far as I can remember from what I read, was back in January. I don't know if you did it even before that.
Yes.
If we can get those tweets, those Facebook posts up, but I'm just going to read one. You said, as a Mount Kenya voter, my personal vote for president will go to the person who has committed themselves to ensuring President Kenyatta's legacy is delivered, established and secured, and especially during his second term, guarantees and conditional to all Kenyans. But of course, I'm a bit biased to especially those from Mount Kenya.
Yep.
And you went on and on and on and on. Essentially, what I'm saying is that whereas I agree with Moses Kuria on some things, I disagree with others. Most importantly, in 2022, my vote, your vote, will not depend on betrayal or paying debts.
Yep.
Okay? There's no such thing in politics, so my vote for those that I can influence will depend on the points above. What do you mean betrayal? What do you mean paying debts?
You see, there's been concerted...
And I expected.
Yes.
Just like anyone else, you being in Jubilee and supporting Jubilee and having won on a Jubilee ticket will support the deputy president, as the president, the leader of Jubilee party said.
You know, how did we find ourselves in a situation where we're even having this conversation at this moment in time, 4 years before the next election? The president, again, I keep going back to the president. When I went to the campaigns, to the elections in 2017, the mandate I was given by the people of Nyeri was go and represent us, go and defend the president. This president. This one. And sometimes the attacks that are going against him are coming from within his own party. And I have to stand up and say, boss, you are disrespecting the president.
Which attacks?
For example, when you start campaigning for 2022, 4 years to the election, you're disrespecting the president. He has not finished his work.
Who exactly are you talking about?
My brothers here, who keep every time they go for a rally, they finish by saying in 2022, we are giving this vote to the deputy president. Of course we are. But at this moment in time, we have a situation where we are in a handshake. We have brought the entire, remember, the president.
What is the, okay, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion.
Yes.
But what is the problem with them going out, being the Jubilee party, which you're in,
let me tell you, have a 20-year-old
plan. Say they have a 20-year plan.
Because it is very presumptuous. It's presumptuous. You're assuming that the Kenyan voter cannot think for himself. You're assuming that this Kenyan voter. Let me make my point. Let me make my point. We are assuming that the people who will vote for Jubilee in 2022 are only the ones who voted for it in 2017. We need new people to vote for us. We are still looking for new voters. Okay. Part of how to get those new voters is to first work for them before you tell them how to vote. And I keep saying this, even to date.
You did.
Let me tell you. I told them I will not tell them how to vote.
No. You told them.
Yes.
In the run-up to the 2017 campaign, let me finish.
Yes.
That you have a 20-year plan.
Of course.
Okay.
We are Jubilee party.
In that party.
Let me tell you something.
Let me just finish. The president's party and the deputy president's party.
Yes.
Why didn't you think then, in 2017, that you cannot think for these people? Why is it after that election?
Because
now
you're saying Hussein, we were in campaigns.
Think for themselves, yeah.
We were in campaigns.
So
we're not in campaigns now. Right now we are working.
You made a pledge.
But what I'm saying is, if you read all my tweets, at no point have I said we are not going to vote for the deputy president William Ruto. My point is always, this is not the time to have that conversation. Read very carefully. And it's actually public information.
I'll read it.
It's very public information.
You're saying, essentially what I'm saying, okay, I mean, whereas I disagree with Moses Kuria and all that.
Yes.
You're saying, most importantly, in 2022, my vote will not depend on betrayal or being debt.
Yes.
There's no such thing in politics.
Yes. So how am I going to vote for the deputy president? Let me tell you how. Let me explain to you.
Let me finish. I mean, you just told me to read. Okay. So my vote and those for that I can influence will depend on the points above.
Which was, you jumped the points above. My points were very, I can just summarize them for you. I wrote them. The first point was, you supported the president until he finished his term. 2022. Second point, we do not have this situation where some people are scared that if they don't vote for you, there's going to be violence. Point number 3, you gave us promises. You have come to Nyeri, you have promised the people of Nyeri, if you vote for me, I will do A, B, C, D. You do those 3 things, I will vote for you in 2022. Okay. And now you see, so what I am actually saying, the deputy president is ahead of the pack.
Okay.
In 2022, he's going to, even Uhuru came to Nyeri to ask for votes.
Okay.
In 2022, the deputy president will come to Nyeri. He will speak to the people of Nyeri. He will promise them what he will do for them. Okay. He will give them the assurances. He will have finished his term with the president.
Right.
Then we will vote for him.
In essence.
In 2022.
In essence, from what I'm actually seeing.
Yes.
Unless my memory is not okay.
Yes.
You're actually the one who started this 2022 talk.
No. If you read that post, I was actually responding to Moses Kuria, who had gone to Rift Valley and promised the people of Rift Valley that Kikuyus are going to vote for them. Okay. And I was telling him, boss, you cannot be making those kind of promises at this time.
Okay. Why make all these assumptions? Why assume all these things may happen so that you may not be clear on who you're voting for? Yet, just 2 months before that, you had made it clear as a Jubilee party, the party you won with, of course, through support of the president and the deputy president, that you'll support the deputy president.
Because I do not want anybody to presume or to make Uhuru Kenyatta a lame duck president. Uhuru Kenyatta is still the president for the next 4 years. Okay. When we start having a conversation, Hussein, when we start having a conversation about who the next president is, people start aligning themselves. Uhuru must finish strong. He must finish after he has done what he needs to do. We cannot have a situation when we are going around the country confusing people about who's running the country. This country is being run by Uhuru Kenyatta.
Okay.
He's the president.
I don't there is no confusion who runs the country. The country and all of us, in fact, the best That's why, you know, this narrative is.
When is the last time? Ask him. When is the last time he spoke about Uhuru Kenyatta? This guy.
In fact, in Tindre the other day, you can get the clip which
I cannot. I haven't seen. I have seen you speaking about Ruto. I haven't seen you speaking about the president anywhere.
As latest as even yesterday or even on Friday when we had Amina Mohammed Education Day in Cardinal Girls, and we said let us support President Uhuru Kenyatta to deliver on the big four. What Ngunjiri is saying, he has not. He said if Kenyan voters is insinuating that if there is no 20-year plan, we have 20-year plan.
Oh no, but we have 20-year plans
for Uhuru Kenyatta. The next 10 years is up to 2030.
In jeopardy?
It is not in jeopardy because it is not in jeopardy because in the stewardship and leadership of President Uhuru Kenyatta, he will deliver resoundingly on the big four agenda, which will become his legacy and become
fight corruption.
Board.
You know,
for deputy president. Let me finish.
Just finish. Yeah.
There's a point he keeps jumping away from, but let him finish.
It will be a springboard for His Excellency the Deputy President. So that is why we must ensure the legacy of President is delivered, so that because we want to ensure by 2022 Kenyans we always and have been since 2013 when the likes of Ngunjiri Wambugu could not believe. And you know where he comes from. He was in ODM. In ODM they believe in fighting and destabilizing the party, and that is why he's an agent of destabilizing and ensuring that Jubilee is being destabilized within.
Murkomen here made, I mean, when he talked about the issue of lifestyle audit and not really supporting it, and said more or less the deputy president or he just said they were not consulted on this matter. Do you feel they are as close as they were before, and especially consulted on matters or decisions that are made?
No, you know, president and the deputy meets on daily basis.
So there's no problem.
Yeah, there's no problem.
But you see a problem.
But unless there are people who are like Ngunjiri Wambugu who are just selling other things, as far as I know, they consult on daily basis.
They consult on daily basis, okay? If that's what you're saying.
Yeah, they consult. And that is why when on the issue of lifestyle audit, the president said even the deputy will be done, and even the president when there were so many speculations, the deputy president himself came out and said I support.
Okay, and
even when the handshake was done,
he has supported the handshake.
Yeah, he has supported.
So what is the problem? Why do you have a problem?
We don't have a problem with handshake. The reason we are saying handshake, it was handshake just remaining at peace, unity, and development.
So you are trying to
and in ensuring that we have cohesion in the country.
Okay.
That was it.
Ngunjiri, as you respond to this, I'll take a look at some of your remarks again on Facebook very recently. As we're close to winding.
Yeah, he's the one.
This is what you've said about after the Kipchumba Murkomen interview. Do we have that? Right, we have some of what you said on Facebook. You will put them up as graphics. You said Adan Duale and Kipchumba Murkomen need to resign from their positions as majority leader in the Senate and National Assembly, respectively. You went on to say, I don't know why we don't have them. You also went on to say, if they do not do so, but you can
Thursday a press conference, yes.
Yeah, I will request our party leader Uhuru Kenyatta, okay, to call for a parliamentary group meeting where we can discuss their conduct with the aim of kicking them out of these two offices. You actually went on to say National Assembly Majority Leader Adan Duale is behind the attempts to bring in Uhuru Kenyatta's relatives into the investigations on illegal and contaminated sugar imports. In fact, before you even answer on the issue of removing Kipchumba and Duale from their offices, when you make this statement that Adan Duale is behind the attempts to bring in Uhuru Kenyatta's relatives into the investigations on illegal and contaminated sugar imports, Uhuru Kenyatta said whoever is found in investigations.
He did.
Are you not also interfering with
No,
investigations?
I'm not. Duale was in parliament and he said that there are people who are trying to go after his community, the Somali. They are going after the petty thieves, chicken thieves, and leaving the big people. And then the next day, we see Serem wake up and pull out a party associated with Moho Kenyatta, which hasn't actually ever imported sugar.
A farm, yeah.
Yes. So I asked myself, and my brother, now you really must allow me to speak, because this guy is speaking without interrupting.
Okay, I'm listening.
So we see Duale introduce the topic that there are people, and he says he's going to bring in a list of companies, and he brings in a list of companies. The Serem points us to the company number 112 that belongs to Moho Kenyatta, tries to insinuate that it needs to be investigated. Maybe that's why Matiang'i is scared of coming to parliament, because of that party, because it's because of that farm, blah blah blah. And this is a farm that is on record that's never imported sugar. Then the president says, because what the president was responding to are people who are trying to imagine that by bringing his brother, they're going to scare them. He said, even if it is my brother, it will be sorted, which is actually a very important thing for us to know. So that even the people, my brother here, who are afraid of lifestyle audit, and the people who are scared that it's going to affect them negatively, should know that what the president is saying, if he is saying, I am willing to go after my brother, it doesn't matter who you are.
So
he's going to come after you.
Back to my question. And of course, the cabinet secretary made it very clear that Paul's farm was not involved in this.
Exactly.
My question back to you is, are you also not interfering with investigations?
No, I'm not.
Because you've said Duale is behind the attempts to bring in Kenyatta's heir.
But I've just explained to you how.
I mean, if companies are brought in, every member of parliament in Kenya has a right to do that.
Including myself.
Including you.
And I have the right to explain what is happening.
It is about investigative agencies to determine that.
My brother, when the president said, even if it's my brother, what I have said over there is something I had watched. Duale had made comments in parliament.
But don't you agree it is investigative agencies to decide that?
It is, of course, it is investigative agencies to decide that.
All right.
But then there's something, you keep interrupting me, so I don't manage to make my points. One of the points I needed to make, this my brother here has continued to talk about me and ODM in 2013. And one of the things I always remind them, ODM has lost 3 elections. In 2007, 2013, and 2017. The only time there was violence was in 2007. And these guys were in ODM at that time. So if you're talking about violence, let me make my point, my brother. Let me make my point so that we are all very careful about the history we bring back. We need to be very, very clear about the history we bring back. If you want us to go back to who has been in which party and what happened when they're in that party, we will go back. My position would be, let's move forward. Because here we are. Uhuru has done a handshake with Raila Odinga on March 9th. Let us move forward from there. He intended for this country to be united. When we start undermining that handshake, we are taking us back to divisions. He has then said he wants a lifestyle audit. Why? Because Kenyans want Uhuru to fight against corruption. When we start saying that, but our work, and this is why I said that Kipchumba and Duale should leave their positions of majority leader in Senate. And
we have a parliamentary group meeting on Tuesday.
Yes.
Have you talked to Kenyatta about this?
You see, now this, don't worry. See, we're going to have the PG. So the point I'm coming to, the point I'm coming to is this.
There's nothing.
These 2 guys.
Yeah, there's no formal invitation.
Who said, these 2 guys are the representation of the Jubilee party in parliament. If the president says he wants a lifestyle audit, then you're the Senate majority leader and you come on TV and you say you don't believe in it. Why would you continue being majority leader? If the president says he's fighting against contraband sugar, and you're the Senate, and you're the majority leader in National Assembly, and you say you don't agree with it, why are you still majority leader? We have to bring discipline to the party.
Okay. So you're saying
the discipline has to be the president is a party leader. We align ourselves to him.
So are you still moving with that plan?
So we're having a PG.
In fact, PG is not there. We have not been given formal invitation.
And
if we, of course, personally, as a elected leader and a member of Jubilee, and of course, I have talked to several colleagues, we have not been informed that we saw it in media and social media. But if there is a PG we'll call, we will only talk, and the agenda of the Jubilee party will only be on the Big Four agenda. I will assist the president on policy and the legislative agenda in parliament.
So not
let me tell you something.
Because the Jubilee is intact. It is united.
So
and I want to tell him that, in fact, he has confirmed that the trips that he was making to AU was to ensure that the charges were confirmed.
No, I was going with these people. I was going with Kipchumba. I was with Kipchumba. I was with Ishungwa, unless that's what we were going to do.
All right.
With them.
So you're talking about Tuesday finally.
The point Tuesday, or whatever. By the way,
there is no formal
whenever the PG happens,
unless he's the one
whenever
planning,
the PG happens,
because some of us have not, maybe he's the one planning.
You never know. This me and this faceless.
That is faceless.
Me and this faceless
and the Gigiri squad.
Let me tell you something, Hussein.
To say
Hussein, let me tell you something.
Call for parliamentary group, which is a normal routine under the law and even the practice of Jubilee as a party, is that our main agenda is on how to discuss, on how to assist the president on the Big Four agenda and ensuring that we put legislative and policy framework within. But as of now, there is no formal invitation on that.
So you don't know about
so we saw it in papers. Personally, I've read in papers. But if we are called, we will only go and discuss. We will not go and discuss individuals whether Aden Duale will remain the majority of leader of National Assembly. Kipchumba will remain the legislative, because they are the ones who have ensured that they have steered the party. When they were campaigning for the party, Ngunjiri was not there.
When the party went, what do you mean?
What do you expect to happen in
He was parliamentary
group. When the parliamentary group is called, I'd like to really correct my friend over here. He seems to imagine he can limit what the president can say during a parliamentary group meeting. He seems to imagine he can limit the agenda that the president can come with. I don't understand what point this guy here, Cherargei, and the people he represents now, because they're talking about faceless people. Even him, he's got this Tanga group. Yeah, I don't understand why they imagine that they have reached the point when they can give the president's ultimatum. When the president is the party leader of Jubilee. When he calls a party group meeting, he will tell us what he wants to tell us. Cherargei here cannot tell us what the agenda will be. Okay. It will be determined by the party leader, who is Uhuru Kenyatta.
So but the focus of Jubilee is on the Big Four agenda. So it is an automatic
the focus of Jubilee is on the Big Four. Let me explain. Hussein,
the president has the Big Four. As an important
fight against corruption.
In the Big Four, he wants the president. One of the key issues of President Uhuru Kenyatta is the Big Four agenda. So what we are going to do is to assist, and that is why the main focus should be.
Okay. Plus,
it's not on the same show of whether somebody should campaign.
He also has one of the other focuses of course, Big Four is the focus of the president, but so also is fighting corruption. So we will discuss that. So also is a handshake and uniting the country. So we will discuss that.
So, of course, those are issues that will come automatically because we know the impediment of Big Four agenda is corruption. But we are saying corruption without political witch and malice.
All right. You have received a formal invitation for that?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe it's the one planet.
You never know.
Okay, you're both alluding to these forces that you want to name behind each other. Now that you've said there's a
my only forces are people of Nandi. I don't know. Maybe
you're not
mentioning
any. In the meantime, both of you are telling us Jubilee is still united.
I mean, we are here. We can fight. Even if we fight like this.
It is amazing. Jubilee is the only
party. We can fight like this, but we are still in the same
Jubilee is the only party you can have divergent view, but we are united in diversity. But when you go to ODM, when you say some of these things, you can lose your
ODM is not here, so we won't talk about them. But I mean, we're
still in the same party with him.
Of course.
We haven't left.
Despite all this, you're still saying.
Lakini siasa ni kujipanga.
Alafu.
Yeah.